Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Moxie Coaching Podcast. My name is Michelle, and I'll be your host as we explore what coaching is and how it can help you create your best life. If you're anything like me, it's important to you to give back in some way. Maybe it's volunteering in the soup kitchen. Maybe it's donating $1 million to environmental research. It doesn't really matter. I started coaching and podcasting because I'm just one person who can only do so much alone. And I realized that through coaching and through podcasting, I could help and support those of you who want to do good works and exponentially increase the amount of good that I'm able to do. So if this sounds like you, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Be well. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Moxie Coaching Podcast. This week, we're going to be launching into the nitty-gritty of the Minor Arcana, beginning with the Aces. But before we do that, I wanted to, first of all, wish you happy New Year. I hope that you had a restful and rejuvenating holiday. Not too many interruptions from COVID and all of the craziness in the world. I also wanted to let you know that for a limited time, I'm going to be offering some tarot readings. And I thought that just because it's the beginning of the year, we're all launching into a new year, we are, most of us, a little bit gun shy about what 2022 is going to bring, since 2020 and 2021 were such, I have no words, they just were, right? So if you are interested in getting a reading, please check out the website, moxiecoaching.com, MOXXIE, and you can find information right on the homepage. If you just scroll down a little bit, there's a little bit of information about how to hook up with me for a reading. And usually what I do is I try to do audio readings, and I do them live on audio, and then I will send you the audio recording so you can listen to it. And then I offer a 15-minute live phone or Zoom conversation for anybody who wants a little bit more insight, who wants the opportunity to ask questions about what came up in their reading, and that type of thing. So if you are interested in that, please head on over to the Moxie Coaching website and sign up. All right, let's launch in to the Aces. I am pretty excited to be getting to this part of this, whatever we're calling it, Tarot 101. Before we do jump into the Aces, I wanted to just take a couple minutes and do a little bit of a review to remind you that the Minor Arcana cards are not about people or their energy or major life events like the court cards and the majors. The minors are far more about the human condition. They're about the universal joys and challenges that we all go through, regardless of if we were born 500 years ago, if we last that long, 500 years into the future. It's about being human. It doesn't matter where on the earth you are. It's about feelings and events that we all have regardless. So things like feelings of lack or feelings of insecurity or experiences that leave us hurt or confused, interactions with other people, things that are just part of everyday life that we navigate on a consistent basis. That's the meat of the Minor Arcana. When they come up in a reading, they're an invitation to look at that humanity. They're an invitation to dig around in the muck of your own stuff and look and see what's there. You know, they remind us of who we are. They invite us to take a look at who we are and how we're being and what's affecting us. And through that, they actually help us, hopefully, move our lives forward. The minors can remind us, they can invite us, and they can help us. So how does that happen? Well, when we're down, they can remind us that there are still wonderful parts of life. You know, let's say, for example, we're feeling a little down that day and we get the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is a lovely little card that encourages us to remember the past, to sort of revel in our childhood memories and memories of the past. When we're cocky, though, they can also remind us to take a look at ourselves and see what's really there. They can remind us, you know, let's say you pull the Five of Pentacles. Ugh, okay, well, maybe I have been a little cocky. Maybe this is a reminder that I need to bring it down a notch or two. The minors can invite us. They invite us to look at ourselves in ways and see sides of ourselves that we may not necessarily want to see, but that we need to see. And it invites us also to connect with that human condition, to when we recognize and when we begin to completely, fully internalize that every one of us has these same feelings, same experiences in life that manifest in a different way, but we really are all so much the same. And when we can internalize that knowledge, I think that it helps us be kinder to ourselves. And I think it also helps us begin to have more compassion for other people. And then lastly, in terms of helping, how can they help us? Well, they can guide us to look at something that we may absolutely not want to look at. You know, how if you've ever had children or if you've ever worked with children or whatever, and it's so sweet if you've ever had them come up to you and they look at you in the face and they take your chin and they turn it toward them very slowly so you're listening and looking at them and you hear what they have to say. That's kind of what the tarot does. It's this very gentle, come on, look over here. It's not so bad. Look over here. Pay attention to what's over here. This is something you need to take a look at. The aces are the first card of the Minor Arcana. And we talked a little bit earlier about the fact that the Minor Arcana cards run from ace through 10, with the aces being what I would call potential energy that is available if we know to access it, know how to access it, know that it exists. And then with tens being the culmination of that journey that began with the aces. So aces themselves are beginning. They're that potential energy. They're that energy that is just waiting to be released. And I don't know why this comes to my head. When I was a little kid, my dad made these very weird rubber band shooting things, guns. I guess you'd call them guns. But we used to, as kids, run around and, have battles with them, and it was so much fun. But my point being that when you loaded this thing, it was ready to shoot. It was ready for that rubber band to go boing and fly over at somebody else. that is potential energy. That's that just before the trigger, just it's ready. All you have to do is touch the trigger. So that's what aces are about. They're about that type of energy. And they're also, because it's this potential energy, it's also very fleeting. So ace energy does not last a long time. And when you have an ace come up in your reading, you're going to want to figure out what that means for you and act on it or take advantage of that fairly soon, because it's not like some of this other energy that's just sort of permeating the ether, like the Major Arcana. So yeah, it's brief energy. Basically what happens is we just need to grab the bull by the horns when it comes up. And that means that the questions that we ask really need to be focused on the present and on the barely immediate future. And it might help you to keep that in mind when you are considering the card. When you're considering what's going on, when you're considering the time frame of things, just remember that this is going to be an immediate action or a very soon type of action or energy that's showing up. Let's begin with the Ace of Swords. All of the aces are very simple cards. They literally are a hand and some clouds. The hand is emanating from the clouds. And then whatever suit it is, and maybe a little bit of other stuff here and there. But my point being that some of the Rider-Smith-Waite cards, it's really pretty easy to glean the meaning when you just look at the image itself, the Minor Arcana specifically. But these are an exception to that. All right, so the Ace of Swords is about mental clarity. If this card comes up for you, it often means that there is an opportunity for clarity in some area of your life. This card is all about a fresh approach, intellectual prowess, intellectual conquest, new ideas, or maybe more clarified ideas. Remember that the swords are a mental card. They're about air, and they're all about thought and ideas. So that is the primary, at least in my experience, that is the primary meaning of this card. Now, it is true that traditionally the swords also illustrate the concept of strength or a strong warrior type of a person. But I have a tendency, and I think most other people do too, to kind of fit it into that Aries energy, which is kind of a blend of the two. Aries is a very, I always think of them as very powerful and, powerful in a different way. Like Taurus is considered stubborn. Aries is different. Aries is about pushing things forward and about ideas and this dynamism. And so when I think of the concept of the swords meaning or having something to do with physical strength and prowess, I think of it that way, more as this potential energy, not necessarily someone who's violent or someone who wishes anyone ill. It really is more about the vibe than it is the actual action, if that makes sense. So maybe we could call it strongly assertive as opposed to powerful. Might be a different way to look at it. Okay, so what types of questions should you be asking if this card comes up in a reading for you? Question number 1. Is there new information that I'm just finding out about this particular situation? Meaning, this card comes up for you and you're asking about a situation, and the question you're asking is, hey, is there something new that I'm going to be finding out, that I need to find out, is there some new information related to this situation that's going to be showing up for me? Where might it be coming from? Where could I look for this new information? Somewhere out there, is there some new information for me, and how do I get it? Another question would be, where in my life are there some new ideas? Because swords, like I said, especially if we're focusing on the mental aspect of everything, they're thinkers, they're ponderers, they are considerers. And this card showing up for you could be saying, hey, you had a new idea the other day. What was that? Bring that new idea back out. You know, what's going on in your life that's new and innovating that you might, or innovative, sorry, that you might apply to this situation? Are there new ideas? What are they? How do these new ideas alter the situation? And then lastly, I would suggest, is there a new intellectual or thoughtful, idea-driven person around me? Because it could be saying, hey, somebody is coming into your life who's going to bring this energy. And you may just want to inquire, you know, hey, is this someone I already know? Is this someone I haven't met yet? How might they fit into my life? What's their purpose? You know, if this card is coming up and you're confused about it, it's like, why is this card here? It makes no sense. Well, ask these questions. And I personally think that the minors are easier to read than the court cards. And so it really is just a matter of learning, of developing a relationship with them to the point that you understand which questions to ask. Because clearly, I'm giving you a minuscule taste of all of the questions you could be asking. And you're going to need to use your own judgment and combine that with the question and the information that you're seeking to learn to form your own questions that will help you, that will catalyze this new information that might spark something for you. Okay, so those are some questions to ask. And like I said, just a few of them, but now that you have an idea, I'm hoping that you can take this type of question and build on it and build yourself a library of relevant questions to ask when these cards come up. Because as we learn, rote learning is, I think, the least effective. I think that grabbing your tarot cards and just forcing yourself to memorize and memorize and memorize is not the way to do it. I think if you truly want to learn to use the tarot and integrate it into your personal life, into your coaching, into your personal life, or your personal self-coaching, I want to say, then developing a relationship with the cards is really what you need to do. And this is the way to do it. All right, let's move on. Boy, sorry, I didn't mean for that to be preachy. Just sort of, I want you guys to get this. I want you to really understand what a valuable tool it can be. And I need you to understand that you have the ability to come up with these questions too. that it's not just me. My questions are not like the questions. My questions are some of the questions. There's some of the possibilities. All right, Ace of Wands. Remember, we're talking about new things, and with wands, we're talking about action. So when the Ace of Wands comes up, it could be that it's time for you to anticipate some sort of new venture or new enterprise, something, a new project, a new something coming up that involves action. Not a new idea, a new project. It could also indicate that material and spiritual progress are headed your way. The start of a new journey, the start of a new profession or a new creative project, strong beginnings. I've heard it described as a burst of soul energy, which I think is just lovely. New life, passions, discovering your passions, inspiration, bold steps forward. And the last one that I really like is a hot flash of focused attention. That is the Ace of Wands, which is great. Now, how do you take all of that airy, fairy, woo-woo stuff and convert it into practical, usable questions? Well, here are some questions. Remember that Ace energy is brief energy, right? So keep in mind with all of these cards that we want to grab the bull by the horns when this energy appears for us. And we also need to remember that because it's energy that's very much focused in the present, we need to be asking questions of this card that are focused in the present and in the immediate future. So meaning if an ace comes up for you, you're not thinking back. You're thinking today and tomorrow. So the Ace of Wands. Is there a project? Something I have been waiting to get off the ground? And if so, this card is telling you, bingo, you have your go card. It's time to at least start feeling out the actual work of this project. Okay? Where am I being inspired to grow or build or do or create or use this wand's energy in a new way? Where am I being inspired to do that? What do I need to do? Because wands are about action. What do I need to do to manifest the things that I am inspired to do? Where can I look for inspiration? What opportunity is awaiting me? What opportunity is out there waiting for me to find it? And lastly, where in my life do I want to make a change because this card is showing up to support that change? Okay? Keep in mind that you may or may not have answers to these questions. The point is that you're creating a process of inquiry by which you are looking inside that brain of yours, doing the whole Rubik's Cube, turning it over, pondering every different angle that you can. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this is not a short process, right? This is not I'm going to get up and I'm going to spend 3 minutes in the morning and whip out 5 cards and have my life figured out. No. This is a front to get you to start really focusing on yourself and to start digging around and thinking about how you are, who you are, how you want to show up in the world, and help you figure out how to do that. Ace of Pentacles. So remembering that pentacles are about material things. They're about material abundance, about contentment, about security, financial security. They're about good health. All of those lower chakra things is where the pentacles have a tendency to stay. And so the Ace of Pentacles is about abundance, new, right? New possibility, new potential endeavors and opportunities coming up in your work life, new nourishment of yourself in some way, an opportunity for contentment in some way. And very much a reminder to stay grounded. So you can ask questions like, where in my life is there a feeling of contentment and belonging? And what can I do to cultivate more of this feeling in my life? Or what can I do to help myself manifest this feeling more frequently, right? Everybody likes to have that, those two, the root and the solar plexus chakras, really nice and grounded, because we feel safe and we feel secure when we have that. So, these cards could be asking you, where do you need to step back and where do you need to take that grounding? It can be telling you, hey, this is a really cool energy. Where in your life can you find more of this? Or where in your life can you cultivate more of this? You can ask yourself specifically, what can I do to take advantage of this ace energy, of this Ace of Pentacle energy in particular? Is there something that is related to finances? Is there something related to my health and well-being, my material space, my home, whatever, that I can do to take advantage of this energy? You may also want to ask yourself if this is a good time to be creating something new. Or I guess, am I feeling like creating something new? Is there something in my being that's sort of waiting to be birthed, right? Is there something waiting to manifest that I am creating and birthing into the world? And if so, this might be the time to move that forward. That might be a little nudge, a little hint, a little, yep, you're on the right track. You might also want to ask yourself, on the opposite end of the spectrum from the grounded thing, am I feeling flighty or untethered or ungrounded lately? And if I'm aware of it, fantastic. If I'm not aware of it, or if I haven't been aware of it, is this something I need to be aware of now? Because when we run around feeling untethered and flighty and lack of grounded energy, it can make a lot of people, mostly us, feel uncomfortable. And so that's a good question to ask is, am I feeling untethered? How am I feeling? Is this card coming up for me because it's reminding me to look at how I'm feeling? And the last ace, I saved this one for last because it's my favorite, is the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is all about emotional connection, new emotional connection, opportunity for love and growth and expression of that love and growth, giving and receiving empathy, maybe new intuitive downloads or new intuitive sparks, ideas, a new emotional connection This is the card that connects us to the divine. And a lot of times that's a nice clue about this Ace of Cups. It's like, woo, you're getting a little lovey mojo from beyond. Okay, it can also symbolize overflowing abundance and nourishment. I think of the vibe of this card being like luscious and rich and fertile. This is the energy that I want to spend the most of my time in. It's all about love and compassion, trusting your emotions, and how does that fit into real life, right? What kind of questions can I ask myself? Well, I can ask myself, is there something that I'm feeling right now that I'm unsure about? Do I need to explore this feeling and figure it out? Because I know that I can trust in my emotions when I see this card. I just need to figure out exactly what they are. You may want to keep an eye open for some lovely upcoming experiences, because you have this energy around you for this day or this couple days or whatever, and you may have no idea why it showed up in your reading, other than to say, hey, you got some goodies coming your way. The card could be also asking you, where in your life could you be more empathetic and more giving? Could be suggesting that it's time to start embodying this type of energy for yourself as well as for everyone else. And it could also be asking you or pointing you in the direction of the divine. Am I craving some type of emotional connection? Am I craving some type of deep connectedness that I have to work for? Is there something out there? I'm feeling that there's something out there. The cards are showing me that there's something out there. How do I tap into that? Are you noticing how the trick, basically, that I suggested from last week, the concept of having an understanding of the suit and then having an understanding of the numerology, the combination of those two things, when you put them together, is going to help you do your reading, even if you don't know the meanings of the cards. So I just wanted to remind you of that we have this tool of kind of the Granimals for tarot, where you can download this sheet, you can look at it and say, okay, aces mean blank, 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 blank. Threes symbolize dun, 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 dun. And I'm going to combine these two, and I am going to develop my own intuitive or extended meaning of this card. Because the more you dig into the tarot and the more you listen to people who are teaching the tarot, me and everyone else included, we all have our own nuances. Our personality is flavoring our tarot, so to speak. And unless you are someone who is just extremely literal and by the book and not tapping into your feelings or your emotion or your intuition, unless you're doing that, right, you are developing your own tool that you, over the course of time, will learn to interpret for yourself in a way that's meaningful for you. And that really is the whole purpose I love doing tarot readings. It's so much fun for me. I love sort of being in that space of being open and seeing what comes through and what I can do to help someone. But ultimately, if we can do that for ourselves, that's the best gift, right? So, Happy New Year, everyone. If there is anything I can do for you, you know where to find me at the Moxie Coaching website, on Instagram, all those places, social media. And I think that's about it. So have a fabulous first week of this new year, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.